Something a little bit different today, folks. We're talking about CDs. Yep. Why? It's the CD tag. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome to Northern Revolutions. I'm Rob. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new. CDs. I never talk about CDs. Not a CD guy. Now, to be clear, I'm not one of these snobs like I don't do CDs. I just don't buy them. I honestly don't. I'm a vinyl guy. I've always been a vinyl guy. In the 90s, I bought some CDs. In the early 2000s because stuff wasn't available on vinyl. Never been my preferred format. It just, I prefer the experience of listening to a record. So I don't have a ton of CDs. Well, you be the judge of whether I have a ton or not. But I've got some. And the impetus for this video, it's tag season. I've already done Sam's Americana vinyl tag. I've already done the annual vinyl tag. And now, my very good friend, Glen from the basement, has put forth the CD vinyl tag. So, got enough to answer the questions. And I'm doing it because Glen's my good pal, and I really want to support his tag. So, I will leave a link down below for Glen's video. Please check that out. In the meantime, here's some of my CDs. Number one, when did you get your first CD player? When did I get my first CD player? 1994, I think. Not the first CD player in the house. My dad had a CD player with that exact stereo. That's not the original CD player though. In about 1988, 89 maybe. And that was a novelty. That was, wow, we have a CD player. And I remember the first CD he bought was Abbey Road. And I used his CD player and I used his turntable and I used his stereo. That CD player eventually bit the dust, and in the mid 90s he bought the one that I still have to this day, and I still use it very rarely, but I have it. But me, myself, the first CD player that I bought for myself, I had a little JVC mini system that had two little speakers and a little kind of stereo thing, and it had one tape deck and a CD player and a radio in it, and it was, yay big. That thing was great. I had that till like 2010, to be quite honest. That was my first CD player, and then I also around the same time bought a Discman as well. So right about 1994, and the reason I remember that is I got it just before the first Beatles anthology came out, because the first Beatles anthology was coming out. Number two, what was the first CD you ever bought? The first CD that I ever bought for myself was Eric Clapton's Unplugged. Came out in 1992, which is when I bought it. I watched this on TV and was blown away, so I bought it. Played it on Dad's stereo a lot until I got my own. But yeah, this was the first one, and I still have it. Number three, what is the most recent CD that you purchased? That is this. This is the new album called Breaking Dawn by Cuff the Duke. I've shown this on vinyl before. Cuff the Duke is one of my favorite local bands. They surprised everyone with this album. They'd been on kind of an indefinite 12-year hiatus, and no one knew they were getting back together, and they just dropped the new album on us, which was awesome. Love this band. I bought it on vinyl and I bought it on CD because I have the rest of their albums on CD. And this way I could rip it as well. Keep it in the car. So, Cuff the Duke, Breaking Dawn, my most recent CD purchase. Number 4, approximately how many CDs do you own? Well, I'll take a shot. All my CDs are just over to my left here on the bookshelf. I'll take a B-roll shot for you. But it's around about 450. And I would say that 440 of those were bought before 2010. I'm not joking when I say I probably bought 10 CDs in the last decade. That's not an exaggeration. So this is all the OG stuff. The vast majority of this was the 90s and the early aughts. Number 5, jewel cases or digipacks? Ooh, I don't care because I'm not a CD guy. But I guess if I had to pick one, I kind of like the aesthetics of a digipack a little bit better. Long as they put like a little tray in it. I hate the ones that are just like a little envelope and they're paper thin and you can't read the spine. That bugs me. But, these are cool. I like them. Now, the downfall is they're very easy to get damaged. These, the cases break all the time. I remember in the 90s and 2000s buying empty jewel cases because I'd have to replace my cases a lot because these would get cracked and broken and the little things would break off so that then the cover wouldn't stay on. Yeah, pain in the ass. So, Digipack. Number 6, show your best purchase of 2024. I have to show this because this is the only CD that I purchased in 2024. And maybe 2023 as well. So, Cuff the Duke. Number 7, show a live album on CD. Okay, I'm going to show this. This is Melanie Doan. It's called Melvin Live. Melanie Doan is a singer-songwriter. I think she lives in Toronto, but I don't know if she's from out east. She was big in the late 90s, early 2000s. She had an incredible album called Adam's Rib, which I have over there. I absolutely love that. Adam's Rib was a big hit. Happy Homemaker was a big hit. Goliath was a big hit. All of her Much Music back in the day. She doesn't really make music per se anymore. She has a ukulele school and she does school programs where she teaches kids to play ukulele, which I think is friggin' awesome because the earlier we can get kids into music, the better. This was a show in 2000. Can't tell you where it was recorded, someplace in Toronto, but it's a live show. It's called Melvin Live because I guess her brother calls her Melvin instead of Melanie or Mel. So I guess that's what it is. But a great live record. I wish anything of hers would be out on vinyl, especially Adam's Rib. But I suspect that her record deal with whomever her label is probably long since expired because these albums came out 20 years ago. That I doubt there's any vinyl releases planned. But there you go. Melanie Doan, Melvin Live. I should say she's a fiddle player and a guitar player. Kind of a rock, East Coast rock kind of thing. Fantastic. Number 8, show the best sounding live CD in your collection. Glenn, you know this about me. I don't know what sounds great. I'm not an audiophile. But I'll go with this. This is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, the live anthology. This is available on vinyl, but it's crazy expensive and I've never seen it. Would love to get it. But this is a 4-disc collection of live stuff that Petty and the Heartbreakers did. I think it sounds amazing. Right on it, it says audiophile resolution. So that would lead me to believe that this is of great sound quality. I think all the stuff sounds good, so I don't really know. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers live anthology. Number 9, show your favorite CD cover or insert. Well, a lot of my favorite album covers are already on vinyl. Abbey Road, Sgt. Pepper, and many others. But here's one that's on CD that I've always loved. I think it's very striking in its simplicity. and it really captures what's the album is about. This is an album by Great Big Sea. You can see their name in the spine there. And this is called Play. Came out in 97. It's their third album. East Coast folk rock, I guess. This album was a monster. This launched their career, really. Ordinary Day and When I'm Up, I Can't Get Down were two huge singles, as well as the other one was End of the World, which was the REM song. These guys do it faster, believe it or not. Amazing album, but I just love the cover. It's very simple, yellow and red. It's called Play. There's a goofy looking dude on there. It's playful. And that's kind of what these guys are. They're just fun. That's the first thing that pops into my head when I think of Great Big Sea. So, not a complicated album cover, but man, it stood out on the shelf in a record store back in 1997. I just think it's awesome in its simplicity. Number 10, show a CD box set. This is The Band, Across the Great Divide. This has 3 discs, and it's a career retrospective of the band. And the third disc is a lot of, we'll call it archival stuff. So stuff that was Ronnie Hawkins and the Hawks, Bob Dylan and the Hawks, stuff from before they were famous, a bunch of previously unreleased stuff, some stuff from The Last Waltz that didn't make the actual Last Waltz album, and then there's a book in here. I love this. This came out in 1994, and I bought this for my dad for either his birthday or Christmas because he loved the band. And then when he passed away, I took it and kept it because I love the band as much as he did. So I like this for a few reasons. Number 11, show a CD from your favorite band. So, of course, I have to talk about Blue Rodeo. Richard, I don't want to hear it. This is a great album, actually. This is 2001, The Palace of Gold. I think this was the last of their great early period. The first third of their career was the best. I mean, they're still absolutely incredible, especially as a live band. But their songwriting, I think, for the first third of their career was at its best. And this is kind of the end of that. So they formed in 87. This is 2002. So you're, 15 years into a almost 40-year career. I love this record a lot. This is Blue Rodeo with horns and strings because they were listening to a lot of Stax records back in the day when they did this. So there's a Stax influence on here. This is the first album featuring my good friend Bob Egan after he joined the band in 2000 or 1999. It's the first studio album he appears on. Really great record. This is a rare version. This is the version that came out in the US in 2002 on Rounder Records. And it has 3 bonus tracks on it that are listed right there. Those 3 bonus tracks are live. The Railroad, Bad Timing, and You're Everywhere. The first time their cover of The Railroad would ever appear on a release. I was at that show. That show that they were recorded at was at Centre in the Square in Kitchener, Ontario. So I was there. So those bonus tracks are not on the Canadian Warner Music release, only on the Rounder from the US. And this is also signed by the entire band because on that tour, I went backstage after show and got it signed. Number 12, what artist or band do you have the most CDs of? No brainer. The Beatles. I have 50 some odd, something like that. A lot of them, suffice to say. Fleetwood Mac was a close runner-up, believe it or not. I had about 30 of those. This is actually bootleg. This is the first U.S. concert. So this was the show that they did in Washington, D.C. on their first visit to the States. It's made to look like one of the US albums. There you go. Actually pretty good. I like it for historical value. I don't know how it stacks up to the, newly restored version that they used for the new Beatles '64 documentary. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, pretty good. I just thought I'd show bootleg because everyone has already seen every Beatles album. So I thought I'd show something a little different. But I got about 50 some odd Beatles CDs. "13, do you collect CDs or vinyl or both?" Vinyl. Always been a vinyl guy. When I got into music in the early 90s, my dad had a big record collection, not quite as big as the one behind me, but a lot of records. And they were played all the time. The stereo was on all the time. And that was how I first grew up listening to music. I did buy CDs in the 90s and the 2000s because a lot of that stuff wasn't available on vinyl like it is today. So yes, I have CDs. I haven't really bought CDs since about 2010. The odd one here or there, but no, and not that I don't like the format, but I prefer having a big record, pulling the record out, putting it on the turntable and cleaning it and lowering the knee. All of that experience I much prefer over a CD. I'm not an audiophile, so it's not a sound issue. I just prefer this experience better. Number 14. Have you ever sold your vinyl collection stuck with CDs? Not in a million flipping years. I mean, when I get old enough and my kid doesn't want this and I'm going to die, like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't even want to think about that. This is important to me. I would never sell it. I've never even parted with a record from my collection. I've never sold anything back to a store. I've given out a little bit of VCLT, but the thought of selling, no, that's an absolutely foreign concept. As I said in the previous question, I only have CDs because 20 years ago, some of what I wanted wasn't available on vinyl, or else it would have been on vinyl. Number 15, show a CD you'd like your viewers to listen to and give you feedback on. No one's going to do this, but I'm going to show this record because I love it. This is Six Shooter by the Dustin Bentall Outfit. This is one of my maybe top 10 albums of all time. This came out in 2009. It's the second album by the Dustin Bentall Outfit. If you're Canadian and you think the name Bentall sounds familiar, it does. He is the son of Barney Bentall from Barney Bentall and the Legendary Hearts. I loved this band. I followed them whenever they came to Ontario. I saw them every chance I could get. I know Dustin. This was his girlfriend, Kendall Carson, who I know as well and still talk to once in a while when she's in town. This band is not together anymore. Unfortunately, they did break up. A few other folks on here. Del Cowsill, who I know is the bass player. He's the son of Billy Cowsill from the Cowsills. And Pat Stewart, who's Bryan Adams' drummer, plays drums on this record. It's a great country rock and stoner rock record. It's so good. All original except 3,000 Miles, which is written by a guy in Toronto named Corn Raymond. It's also the best song on the record, but I love all of this. Luke Doucette from Whitehorse and Sarah McLachlan's band, he also plays guitar on this record. This is phenomenal. You're not going to find it in a store probably because this band is long broken up and this album came out 15 years ago. So, but if you want to listen to it on YouTube or Bandcamp or whatever, this is awesome. If you like country rock and sort of stoner rock, this is great. There you go, Mr. Glen Calloway. There's my CD tag. I hope that was okay. Fun to dive into the CDs, I guess, because I almost never come over here. So hope you enjoyed that, folks. I'll leave a link to Glen's video. Please check that out. That's everything for me today. Catch you on the flip side. Bye.